sunshine outside, but will we see temperatures continue to heat up? Forecast coming up.
Blue Moon, one of a kind, every time.
Ball on Masson, brought to you by BNC, helping to make banking easier.
2 men are dead in 2 separate crashes in Southwest Missouri. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Jalen Banks. Topping our first 7 minutes, a Jasper, Missouri man loses his life in a motorcycle crash. The crash happened Saturday night just after 7:30 on I-49, 2 miles south of Sheldon in Barton County. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, 57-year-old Wayne Sprinkle was riding a motorcycle and swerved to avoid something in the roadway, lost control, and overturned. Sprinkle was pronounced dead at the scene. The other crash also happened on Saturday night, just after 9 on Elder Road, about 4.5 miles west of Diamond in Newton County. Officials with the Missouri Highway Patrol say 51-year-old Brian Bradley of Diamond was riding an ATV when it traveled off the roadway. Authorities say Bradley overcorrected, and that resulted in the ATV overturning. Bradley was also pronounced dead at the scene. The Grand River Dam Authority Police Department says they recovered a body from the Dripping Springs area of Grand Lake. Officials say they received a call regarding a cliff jumper that did not resurface from the lake around 6:30 yesterday evening. The GRDA says water rescue units arrived on the scene and recovered the body about 30 minutes after the incident. The investigation is ongoing and no other details were released.
Oh, is it time for first weather, Jalen?
I believe so, Nick.
I just wish we didn't have to, considering we've just been doing nothing but heating up throughout the course of the day. But given the thunderstorms didn't scrub out the heat throughout the course of the day, it's no surprise that we're seeing things warm up fast because of plenty of sunshine that we're seeing from 7th and Range Line. Not only that, we have heat advisories in effect now, taking us all the way until Friday morning at midnight. So we're talking about a multi-day stretch of just hot and humid weather with very little chances to catch a break during the nights to come. In the meantime, though, the Skywatch storm tracker, after we were tracking quite a bit of rain and thunderstorms yesterday afternoon and last night, we are looking quite calmer now with our main frontal system well to the northeast of the region now. That's one big reason why we've done nothing but heat up fast throughout the course of the day. In fact, most spots are in the lower to middle 90s. Most locations still between 92 and 94 degrees. But the humidity coming in and the rain that's still trying to evaporate from the other day is making it feel like 100 to 103 degrees at the top of the noon hour. So as far as the rest of the day is concerned, I still think we're in good shape, relatively speaking, to continue to see highs push near 98 degrees. But as far as any 4th of July festivities taking place tonight, we're going to keep things dry with partly cloudy skies to start the evening out, then turning mostly clear later on tonight. But it's going to be a hot start to the evening, Jalen, with temperatures near 96 at 6 o'clock and still in the mid-80s by 10 o'clock. I think we're unfortunately set for a warm night ahead of us and more heat to build in the coming days. We'll break down the full forecast for everybody here in a bit.
Yeah, coming in this morning, it was 20 degrees cooler. So I know that once we leave the studio this afternoon, it's going to feel a lot different than when it did when we came into the studio.
Yeah, we're going to really need to air out our cars before we can safely start driving when we're done.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Nick. Topping Nation Watch. The city of Akron, Ohio has for the downtown part of the city in wake of the protests following the release of a video showing the police killing a 25-year-old black man. Jayland Walker was shot more than 60 times after an attempted traffic stop led to a chase a week ago. We must warn you, the video may be hard to watch. CBS's Elise Preston has the latest from Akron.
Newly released police body camera footage shows the critical moments leading up to the death of Jayland Walker.
The reason for stop was traffic violation.
Police say they were attempting to stop Walker for a traffic and equipment violation, which was not seen on camera. Seconds later, the officer reports a gunshot fired from Walker's car.
That vehicle just had a shot come out of its door.
It went from being a routine traffic stop to now a public safety issue.
Video shows Walker then leading police on a chase before he eventually jumps out of the passenger side wearing a ski mask. Officers tried to deploy a taser while chasing him on foot, but are unsuccessful. Moments later, 8 officers unleash dozens of rounds. Officers say they tried to render aid, but Walker, who was unarmed at the time of the shooting, died at the scene. Police say a handgun and a magazine were found in Walker's car, and that body camera images show Walker appearing to reach for his waist area right before he was killed. But he did not fire at police during the foot pursuit. A preliminary medical report says Walker had more than 60 gunshot wounds.
They need to be able to articulate what specific threats they were facing, and that goes for every round that goes down the barrel of their gun.
It was absolutely excessive. The law requires to use force that is reasonable.
Protests continued late Sunday, where demonstrators say police used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Akron police have not confirmed those reports. Walker's family is calling for calm. In a statement, they said, "Jalen would have wanted us to channel our anger into peaceful, thoughtful action that can bring long-term change and reform."
It does help with all of the transparency, with the early releases, but the transparency does not camouflage the pain of what happened.
The 8 officers involved have been placed on paid administrative leave pending an independent state investigation. Meanwhile, the union representing those officers says it believes the investigation will show that the officers' actions were justified, including the number of shots fired. Elise Preston, CBS News, Akron, Ohio.
Akron's mayor canceled today's 4th of July festivities, saying it was not the time for a city-led celebration. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, hearings for the January 6th attack on the Capitol continue. And later, we're making fresh watermelon lemonade in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Turning now to Washington, where the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th assault is collecting new information for more public hearings this month. In a series of interviews, members of the committee now say they recommend that former President Trump and others should face criminal charges for the attack. CBS's Scott McFarland is on Capitol Hill.
Nearly 18 months after the siege of the U.S. Capitol, Vice Chair of the January 6th Select Committee, Liz Cheney, says multiple criminal referrals to federal prosecutors are being considered, and that former President Trump shouldn't be excluded.
The Justice Department doesn't have to wait for the committee to make a criminal referral, and there could be more than one criminal referral.
In its next hearing, expected later this month, the committee will focus on the alleged role of far-right groups, including the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers.
Who was participating, who was financing it, how it was organized. We obviously want to probe any connection between these dangerous groups and the White House.
In her testimony last week, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson said she heard references to the far-right groups in White House discussions ahead of the 6th.
I recall hearing the word Oath Keeper and hearing the word Proud Boys closer to the planning of the January 6th rally when Mr. Giuliani would be around.
Following Hutchinson's testimony, members of the committee revealed new witnesses have emerged and might lead to more testimony.
Every day we get new people that come forward and say, hey, I didn't think maybe this piece of a story that I knew was important, but now that you guys are, I do see this plays in here.
CBS News has learned Donald Trump is telling aides and advisors he's seriously considering announcing a 2024 presidential run as early as this summer, even as the committee continues to reveal all that it's uncovered about the former president. Scott McFarland, CBS News, the Capitol.
Still to come at KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
On what we're making today. And since we can throw it together in 5 minutes, we still have plenty of time to make it before the gang shows up.
But first, Nick Kelly returns with your complete forecast.
Well, it can't be a typical 4th of July unless we have a big upper level ridge really allowing to kick in the heat and the humidity. that's exactly what we have unfolding. This is the same upper level ridge, by the way, that helped to push the front back to the north, the same front that gave us some rain chances, not only at times on Friday and Saturday, but certainly yesterday afternoon and going into yesterday evening. In fact, let me show you where that front is now. Well to the north and east of the region. And that's also propelling a good complex of rain and thunderstorms and another potential for some strong and severe weather across parts of the upper Midwest and parts of the Great Lakes. Unfortunately for them, as we continue throughout the rest of our 4th of July. But around here, though, we went from tracking numerous, actually, rain and thunderstorms yesterday afternoon and evening, and we just quickly gravitated toward clearing skies. So for those of you that wanted a dry and quiet 4th of July, that's exactly what we have unfolding still as we speak. But it's switching to our next big problem and big focus in terms of weather. These heat advisories, they're in effect now, and a lot of these will not fall by the wayside until we hit midnight as we go into Friday. So we're talking about a prolonged stretch of pure July heat and humidity that will be with us for the next couple of days at the very least. At least it looks nice, I'll give you that for sure. From 7th and Range Line at 12:15, we have the airport checking in at 94 degrees, southwesterly wind to 16. It feels like 103 already, though, thanks to dew points sitting at 73. That is pure muggy air, no matter how you slice it and dice it. In fact, everybody is mainly in the lower to middle 90s. Most spots between 92 and 94 at the top of the hour. And the humidity, I don't even want to show these numbers, but there it is in plain English for everybody to see. Dew points in the mid 70s. Downright soupy air outside, and that's why everyone is feeling like we're already in the triple digits. Maybe feeling like 98 in Iola, maybe the relatively cooler spot, but everybody feels like we're between mainly 100 and 103 degrees so far. And I don't think we're done heating up just yet. Even though we're dry through the rest of the day, we'll have temperatures topping out at 98 this afternoon, and looking at the rest of the evening, we'll be at 91 still by 8 o'clock. Then it's going to be a drop through the 80s down to 78 as we go into tomorrow morning. So that's around the Joplin area, but everybody will have just partly to mostly sunny skies. If there were any slight rain chances, it's going to be mainly confined to areas east of US 65 across the Missouri Ozarks and into northern Arkansas. Around here, though, we'll keep things quiet, but hot and humid, with highs again pushing into the upper 90s this afternoon. And then as we go through tomorrow morning, not a big break in the heat. We'll drop back only into the upper 70s and then catapult right back into the upper 90s with mostly sunny skies for tomorrow. Now the heat indices, so I still think we're set to have them top out between 102 and 107 this afternoon. Maybe just the slightest of a break tomorrow morning before they go right back between 102 and 107 for tomorrow. These numbers are going to stay in place because of this vast upper level ridge keeping us quite hot and quite humid for sure. And with the way things are looking by the middle of this week, it's going to be the hottest stretch of air that we've seen so far this summer, and the humidity will make it feel like it's going to push 110 certainly by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that is why we have the alert days up all the way through Friday, because highs near 99 Tuesday, lower triple digits, and the humidity will make it feel like 110 on those days, Jalen. And even then, if we can cool things down after sunset, we're only talking about lows in the upper 70s to lower 80s. So I think we'll get a break in this by about early to middle of next week, but we just have to find creative ways to stay cool however we can until we can break this heat.
Absolutely. Yeah, people, always are hoping for summer to get here throughout the cold months, and they're certainly getting it over the next couple days.
It's definitely here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick.
All right.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Thomas Langley. Sergeant Langley is a West Mineral, Kansas native. He served in Vietnam from 1969 to 1970 in the 7th Air Cavalry. He earned a Purple Heart, Vietnam Campaign Medal, and a Bronze Star, to name a few. We thank you, Sergeant Thomas Langley, our four-state hero. Need to cool down in this scorching summer heat? Howard shows us how to make fresh watermelon lemonade in the Mr. Fruit Test Kitchen.
Happy 4th of July. Today's the day that no matter what else you have going on, we should carve out a few minutes to think about how fortunate we are to have our independence. It's also a day that many of us will be firing up the grill, heading to the park, or maybe just staying at home and making something that feels tasty and summery. So whether that's hot dogs and burgers, fall-apart ribs, or simply a big fill-you-up salad, we have just the thing to wash it down. It's watermelon lemonade, and I promise once you try it, it'll be your new summertime favorite. To make it, all we do is cut up some watermelon into chunks and puree it in a blender. This takes seconds. Now, this goes into a large pitcher along with some cold water, lemon juice, and some sugar. After we mix this together, it's ready to serve over ice. And whether you serve this as is or spiked with a little vodka or rum, for an adult-only version, let me tell you, the combo of the fresh watermelon and the lemon makes this a real thirst quencher. So go online now and get the recipe for our watermelon lemonade, because you still have plenty of time to make it before everyone comes over. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, wishing you a 4th filled with lots of, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
We are not done heating up just yet, folks. Even though we're dry for the 4th this go around, we're still set to see highs top out around 98. Heat indices feeling like it's between 103 and 107 this afternoon. 99 Tuesday, we'll do it all over again, and triple-digit heat officially. And on those days, Dow, it could feel as hot as 110 based on the humidity that we'll have in place.
I didn't want to hear that.
No, I didn't either, but maybe Doug Hetty could have some better news for us.
Well, we'll ask him, but I doubt it. He doesn't work that way.
And speaking of 5, what can we expect tonight at 5?
Well, lots coming up at 5. For starters, millions of Americans travel for July 4th, but there continues to be problems at the airport. Nearly 17,000 flights were delayed. More than 1,400 were canceled over the weekend. Travel experts say passengers do have rights when airlines don't deliver. Plus, a lot of celebrations across the 4 states, with Carthage starting things off with a free swim on this hot day. That's certainly welcome. And the annual baby contest at Pittsburgh's Lincoln Park. Hope you join us for those stories, a lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
You all have a happy 4th of July. Thanks for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.